Hello and welcome to Bespoke Unit. I'm Rafael, and today I'm back here with another in-depth watch review. This time, it's of the Seiko SRP777, aka the Turtle. Now, there's a lot of things that have made this watch into the huge icon that it is today, perhaps only number 2 to the also beloved Seiko SKX. I'm going to be going over all those characteristics and perhaps some of the ones that may not make this the right watch for you in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. And here we are up close with the Seiko Turtle SRP777. Now, you may or may not know that the Turtle was initially issued sometime in the mid to late 70s by Seiko. It was a watch that essentially looked the same as this one under a reference that I don't know off the top of my head. But what we have here, again, the SRP777 was a reissue, a modern re-release by Seiko. And that occurred in 2015 now. This black strap, black dial, black bezel combination is the most authentic to the original. However, during that reintroduction in 2015, Seiko released a bunch of other color combinations, including I know there's a black gold bezel, which is quite attractive. And they have continued to produce different special editions. In fact, on our channel, we've previously reviewed other ones, including this, the Great White Shark special edition, and this nice grenade type style with that green military waffle dial, which I've actually been wearing quite a ton. You can see individual reviews for all those on our channel. But anyways, back to our most authentic. They're all saying most authentic, just as far as the colors, they're really all the same conformations. Taking a closer look at the case, you couldn't already figure out why it's called the Turtle. It's very much because the case bezel sort of looks like a turtle shell. And maybe that's as far as the comparison goes. I think it's a nice moniker, nice little term of endearment. It seems like Seiko collectors or Seiko fans just love giving nicknames to their timepieces, or maybe that's something that goes across the entire watch collecting hobby, to be honest. Anyways, back to the numbers. Now, as far as case size, this is by no means a small case size, at least in the diameter department. You can see there it's right under 45 millimeters. I'm essentially at the widest part of the case here, which is, as a person who's predisposed to smaller case sizes, or at least something closer to 40 millimeters, I thought this would have been way too large for my wrist. However, the watch is so flat, the bottom of that case is flat, and it rests very, very nicely on the wrist. Again, it's not a small watch. It is a sports watch, so it's okay for a sports watch to be slightly oversized. But I think it fits super comfortably, and I never thought I'd be so happy wearing a 45, or so comfortable wearing a 45 millimeter watch. So that's the diameter. Moving on to the lug-to-lug. Again, this is going to be quite a large measure. It's kind of difficult to get super accurate. Let's see how much I can do here. Now it's closer to 47 millimeters lug-to-lug. Thickness, 13 millimeters, just about, slightly under, let's say. And of course, our lug size, strap size, 22 millimeters. A very, very common strap size. So I'm sure if you've been collecting watches or value timepieces such as this Turtle for any length of time, you've probably got a couple straps already in that size. Taking a closer look at the case, we can see that it's got this very traditional, I would say. I've handled a ton of SKXs and other Seiko models, and Seiko does like to do this kind of brushed case top with a polished case flank. And I think that's just because it adds a bit of contrast. A brushed steel finish, I think, is always appropriate for a sports watch because you're supposed to scratch it, you're gonna bang it up, you're gonna wear it liberally, and the brushed finish certainly does a good job of hiding any scuffs there. Obviously, this being a diver, we do have a unidirectional diver's bezel. That's going to be 120 clicks. It has a aluminum insert, silver contrasting numerals there, and an entire dive scale, of course, with our luminous pip there at 12. So if you're in low light conditions, you'd still be able to see, how much time is left on your dive. The crystal is going to be hardlex. That's a Seiko proprietary material. It is glass. It's not as scratch resistant as sapphire, but nevertheless, it gets the job done. I don't believe I've seen ever, not even online, a picture of a scratched or even a shattered Seiko hardlex crystal. So nothing to be worried about there. Moving inwards towards the dial, of course, we see that it's a flat black color. It does have some large applied hour indices with tons of lume. These are going to be green Lumibrite. You can sort of see it there. But again, it's intended to be super legible. Most of Seiko's watches are the sports watches, and this watch certainly achieves that. Of course, we have the minute track there surrounding the entire dial, and the markings on there are also going to be silver, matching the bezel. The hands are a polished steel. Again, for contrast, you can see I'm kind of grabbing it there at an angle, and the hands do a great job of contrasting against the dial. And of course, if we were in low light conditions or at night, those center hands are full of lume and they'd be shining bright. Now we have here a calendar day and date complication, which is super easy to set. So I unscrewed the crown, which, by the way, this is a screw down crown, and that allows the watch, as you can see there on the dial, to have 200 meters of water resistance. So I unscrew the crown. I'm at position 0. I pull it out twice because I want to make sure I'm not in the danger zone of the calendar before moving it. And while I'm here, you can see that this movement, the 4R36, which I'll go into in a little bit, does have hacking seconds where when I pull out the crown to the time setting function, that seconds hand stops, so I can be super accurate when I'm setting the time. Anyways, let me go back to position 0. I pull it out to the first position, rotate clockwise, and I'm able to change the day, counterclockwise, and I'm able to change the date. Now you can see that this version, which has just the movement made in Japan, as you can see here at 6 o'clock, has 2 languages. These Seiko calendar watches generally have 2 languages. In this case, it's going to be English, as you can see, Sunday, and then DOM, that's Domingo. So this is going to be both English and Spanish. I know there are other versions that perhaps the movement is not made in Japan, and they'll have different languages. Even if you want a specific language and you can't find it, it's super easy to essentially customize this. Easy as far as buying the date wheel and getting a local watchmaker to do it. If you simply don't have the experience, it shouldn't take too much time or too much money. Continuing on, we see that the watch is originally sold on a black rubber silicone strap. I refer to this as silicone just because it's a lot. I've seen rubber straps. They seem like pure rubber and they're just quite stiff. This is not stiff at all, which makes it a very comfortable strap. It does have these waves here, very reminiscent of a Seiko SKX, although I'm assuming since the Turtle was released before the SKX, or probably original to the Turtle. But nevertheless, I've personally learned to associate them more with an SKX watch. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I don't know, it's kind of a unique look there. And again, with that 22 millimeter strap size, you can change this very, very easily. Fortunately, actually, I was confused. We do have lug holes again, so even with a paper clip, you can pull out, you can push in the spring bars, remove, probably have this strap changed in under a minute. I like this detail. It's very simple. You can already see we've already got some scuffs here on this metal keeper, but I just think it looks super cool. Usually rubber straps will have rubber keepers, but this brushed steel, branded keepers, it matches the case nicely, and it adds a level of refinement that I think is usually not present on a lot of Seiko, or in general what you could call value dive watches. There's also a matching brush tang buckle there. Now moving on to the case back, I'm going to talk about the movement now like you can see it. Is the Seiko 4R36 movement. That's self-winding, otherwise known as automatic. Power reserve is 41 minutes, 41 hours. And it's a very reliable movement. I believe accuracy is somewhere along the lines of plus 45 to minus 35 seconds per day. So again, for a watch of this price, it's great accuracy. You're not expecting this kind of diver to have, chronometer spec as far as keeping time. So you'll set it one day and probably a week later it'll be off by a couple minutes, which is, perfect in my opinion for the price point. The movement also allows this watch to have hand winding right at the crown. So you can see I'm spinning it at position 0, I'm spinning it clockwise, and you can hear the movement winding in there. So those are all the technical specifications of the watch. As I mentioned earlier, I did find this too, for the large case size, and this strap is very comfortable. It fits really, really well. It's not uncomfortable at all. I usually wear my watches a little bit higher on the wrist, and again, it just lies flat, so it wears the size very well, even though the lug-to-lug is large, or let's say oversized. Now, I definitely can see how that size and those proportions could maybe not be so comfortable for a smaller wrist. I don't have the largest wrist, but I can see if somebody maybe had a bit smaller wrist than I, it would not be so comfortable. Other than that, if you don't like the look, that's obviously always going to be an issue. I wasn't too familiar with the Turtle before getting this one on my hands, and I've become a big fan of it, especially after wearing it and seeing how comfortable it is. The look is super unique. Anybody who sees this on your wrist and knows maybe even a little bit about watches will know it's a Turtle, and you'll have something to talk about. But again, a great watch. And if you're considering this, and I would certainly suggest taking a crack at it, the price point is decent enough where it's worth trying it. And there's the secondhand market. So let's say you buy it, you wear it for a couple months, you don't like it, you can definitely get it, offload it. Let's say you may even get the same price that you paid for it. So nothing lost, and you got to try a new watch for a couple months.
There you have it. That's our review of the Seiko diving icon, the Turtle reference SRP777. Now, if this video left you with any questions or comments, make sure to leave them in the section below. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and subscribe to our channel for more watch videos, more watch reviews, and men's lifestyle content. If you're looking for pricing on this piece, as always, check the link in the description and see what you find. I'm Raphael, this is Bespoke Unit. Thanks for watching.